GT3 is Porsche's fastest track car. But what if I told you that's not actually true? I think Porsche is actively suppressing performance metrics to make it look like that the GT3 and GT3 RS are the fastest cars that they sell. Let's take a look at the 911 lineup over the last two generations. Things started off with a bang in 2013 when Porsche introduced the 991.1 GT3. This car was a serious track weapon. Porsche was so serious about the GT3's track capabilities that they didn't even offer a manual transmission for enthusiasts.
I do miss the fact that it's not a manual, and I think there is a small portion of the marketplace that will feel disenfranchised and might not go out and buy the car. My guess is that for every one that doesn't buy it, there might be 3 or 4 that do buy it because of what it's become.
This car was marketed as Porsche's ultimate track car, and it had the chops to back it up. It punched above its weight and put in lap times that made other manufacturers need to step up their game. Here's some comparable cars in their respective lap times compared to the GT3. All of a sudden, the GT3 was fighting the big boys in 2013. Sitting on the sidelines with a metric ton of speed was also the Porsche Turbo S. All the tech introduced in the 991 generation really solidified it in the minds of all of us. As we went from 991.1 to the .2 cars, both got updated with new tech and hardware. For the facelifted .2 cars, let's take a look at where these specifications stood. The GT3 was now a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6, making 500 horsepower and 339 foot-pounds of torque. Weighing in at just over 3,300 pounds, it ripped off a 3-second 0 to 60 and ran an 11.1 at 127 in the quarter mile. Acceleration was never the point of this car though. Where it was meant to thrive was on track. The official Nürburgring time was a 7:18.2 running on Michelin Cup 2s. Its listed top speed was 197 miles an hour, and for the 2018 model year, it had a starting price of $145,650. The Turbo S, on the other hand, is marketed as the fastest way to travel on public roads. It was powered by a 3.8-liter twin-turbo flat 6, making 580 horsepower and 553 foot-pounds of torque. It weighed in at 3,571 pounds, or only about 250 pounds more than the GT3, and could do the 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds and the quarter mile in 10.7 at 130 miles an hour. The car was a railgun off the lines, and it's always been touted for its acceleration. But on track, it's no slouch. It was actually faster than the GT3 around the Nürburgring, even with Porsche sandbagging it by putting it on inferior tires. It ran a 117.7, and this was done on Pirelli P0 courses with the same driver during the same year. This was not a great look for Porsche though. Their track-focused, automatic-only because race car Porsche GT3 was slower around the ring than their Grand Touring model. It would take their full effort with the extreme and not very street-friendly version of the GT3, the GT3 RS, in order to eclipse that lap time. The 3RS ran a 6:56, but that was on Cup 2R tires. Car and Driver also has some interesting takeaways from their standardized testing that can be compared here. As you can see, the Turbo S outperforms the GT3 in every performance metric on worse, less sticky tires. Not only that, if we look at the 992 GT3, it still is outperformed in every metric compared to the 991 Turbo S. A quick note about this tire stuff. I know we go on about this frequently, but it's just too important not to mention again. Testing has shown time and time again how much faster these sub 200 tread wear track tires, the Cup 2 and the Cup 2R, are than ultra high performance or UHP summer tires. In general, per 1 minute of lap time, 2 seconds can be lost between UHP summer tires and these track tires. If on the same tire, the GT3 is going to be slower in basically every single circumstance. This is not even to mention what happens when the road gets dirty or raindrops start to fall. For the 992 generation Turbo S, press cars are being given to publishers on tires like the Pirelli P0 PZ4. This isn't even a UHP tire. This is insane sandbagging to lower the performance metrics for the sole purpose of keeping the GT3 appearing faster. Looking at the press kits makes this even more interesting. Now, in the 992 generation, the marketing separation has increased even more between the models. In the press kit for the GT3, it outlines its Nürburgring time of a 6:59.9 and specifically mentions that the car is on Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2Rs. These are extreme track-focused tires. The 992 is 17.5 seconds faster than the 992.1 GT3 and slightly faster than the .1 3RS. Porsche actively promotes and enables track performance by offering these tires directly as an option. The 992 GT3 weighs just over 3,200 pounds and makes between 50 and 150% more downforce than the previous GT3. It uses a swan neck rear wing and aggressive underbody aerodynamics inspired by the RSR race car. It's the first 911 with double wishbone front suspension, also derived from the 911 RSR. They also specifically mention that Porsche Stability Management, or PSM, can be fully deactivated to enhance track performance. Now, looking at the Turbo S press kit, it has no mention at all about tire options. You just get what they choose. They do mention a staggered tire setup, a 20-inch front and a 21-inch rear, but they say it's for optimized high-speed stability, not track grip. They do spend a lot of effort advertising the active aerodynamic elements, but they're downplayed for track use. The Turbo has an active aero system, which is made up from an adaptive front spoiler and variable rear wing. They explicitly state that these active elements improve stability at high speed. These could be tuned aggressively for lap time improvements. Porsche does not emphasize how it benefits track performance in any way, though. The Turbo also got slightly firmer PASM settings, but this is marketed again as enhanced driving dynamics rather than track performance. Porsche avoids calling it a track-optimized setup, although theoretically it should improve lap times. What we don't see in the Turbo S press kit is just as important as what we do see. There is no specific Nürburgring claim in the press kit. To this day, there has never been an official ring lap with the 992 Turbo, probably because it would be faster than the GT3. There are no rear-world comparisons to previous 911 Turbo models, which is a contrast to how Porsche hypes up the lap time improvements on the GT3. There's no mention of track-specific suspension tuning, there's no mention of optional tire availability, like Cup 2s, and there's no attempt to compare it against the GT3 in any track or performance setting. Porsche is careful in controlling the narrative on which car is meant for track use. They have a die-hard fan base and owners who are happy to accept their marketing at face value. If you want a fast car, you need to buy a GT3, and if you're an old man who just wants to go in a straight line, buy a Turbo S. And it's partially true on that front. Turbo S buyers are generally wealthier, less track-focused, and prioritize luxury and speed. GT3 buyers, on the other hand, are track enthusiasts who care about engagement, lap times, and motorsport credibility. If the Turbo S became known as the ultimate track weapon, it could eat into GT3 sales and dilute Porsche's ability to market the GT3 as their purest choice. I do wish Porsche would be able to just rest on their laurels with this, though. The GT3 doesn't need to be faster on track than the Turbo S. It can just be the more fun, more engaging one to drive. In my mind, it'd be cool if they showed us how fast the Turbo S really is on track, and then just keep loving the GT3 for what it is. An engaging, great sounding, and special feeling experience. The GT3 doesn't need to be faster on track than the Turbo S. It can just be the more entertaining one to drive. So why does Porsche do this? I assume it's all just business and marketing, certainly done by more intelligent people than me. I'm just a random guy on the internet. But Porsche needs to justify the GT3's existence for enthusiasts. The Turbo S is already dominant in acceleration and daily drivability. If it also dominated on track, the GT3 might not sell as well. It could also be a move to keep both models distinct. The 911 lineup is really bloated with all the different versions available. They need to work hard on separating them in the buyer's eyes. Anyways, thank you for watching and listening to this rant. I love both of these cars dearly, and I hope that if you own one of them, it makes you really happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking it. It really helps us reach more people. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.